Durdle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Durdle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and durdle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing some more Livio and Kodama. Looking at our opening hand, we have 5 lands to get us started. I think we could keep it. We do have Springbloom Druid to get some more lands out of the deck. So our commanders, Livio, 1 white for a legendary 2/2 human knight. 1 white, choose another target creature. Its controller may exile it with an Aegeus counter on it. 2 white, tap. Return all exiled cards with Aegeus counters on them to the battlefield under their owner's control partner. Kodama, 4 green for a legendary 6/6 spirits. Reach. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield partner. So if you haven't seen the other videos, what this deck tries to do is be a blink and a little bit of a landfall deck where we can use Kodama to abuse those blink effects more often, and Livio kind of gives us an opportunity to slow blink our creatures, and specifically en masse if we can get enough mana. So we can put 3 Aegeus counters on our creatures, tap him, bring them all back for ETBs, and trigger Kodama a bunch of times. I was testing the deck out earlier this week, and it finally got to do the magnificent thing where Livio got to be activated, Kodama was already on the battlefield, and I just was able to draw cards and start playing a whole field of things. It was glorious. But we'll see how this particular game goes. People are a little bit wary of Kodama. Alright, our first opponent with a Bloodstained Mire into play, and they're cracking it, is Rakdos, Lord of Riots. That is black, red for a legendary 6/6 demon. You can't cast the spell unless the opponent lost life this turn, flying and trample. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Usually followed up with some Eldrazi, which is always to me a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? Smoldering Marsh into play for the Rakdos player. Unfortunately, our next opponent has quit the game. That is unfortunate. On our draw, we get Beast Within. Play Terramorphic Expanse. Let's crack it. What do we need? We do have some heavily costed white stuff in the deck, and we do have 2 other green sources, so let's get a Plains and pass it off to our opponents. And our last opponent is a partner pairing of Kamahl and Slurrk, all ingesting. 5 green for Slurrk, it's a 0/0. Enters the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters on it. Whenever Slurrk or another creature you control dies, put if it had 1/1 counter on it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control that has a 1/1 counter on it. Partner. On their turn, they play Aron Reef the Vastwood. Alright, so they can tap to put 1/1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. That's some pretty good synergy. Their other commander is Kamahl, Heart of Krosa. 6 green for a legendary 5/5 human druid. At the beginning of combat in your turn, creatures you control get 3/3 and gain trample until end of turn. That should be, fun for our face. 1 green. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land. That could actually be pretty good in my Tamir Omnath deck. Partner, of course. We have Thrill of Possibility out of the Rakdos player after a land drop. Land was Dragon's Skull Summit. They discard Anger and Bloodstained Mire. Anger is going to be problematic. They do have a mounted into play with the Smoldering Marsh. Our turn gives us Rampant Growth. Nice. Let's play Bountiful Promenade. And let's play Rampant Growth. We do have a lot of green pack in for now. But I think let's get 1 more white source. That way we can have some activations on Livio later and pass it off. Over to the mono green partner player. A Forest into play for them. Let's see if they do some ramp. Okay, they sort of do ramp. Elvish Mystic coming down for them. That's it for mono green. Over to Rakdos. I imagine land and then one of the tapper guys that deals damage to people. That could be pretty bad with Rakdos getting haste and everything. Oh no, we have a Faithless Looting. They are digging some more. Okay, they could possibly put Filth in the graveyard. I mean, nobody really has swamps, but they could have Urborg. Soul of New Phyrexia and Inventor's Fair into the graveyard. Alright. Ancient Tomb down. Won't help with Rakdos, but it helps with casting other stuff. We have a Scarecrow. So it could be that they're playing artifacts more than not, which is nice. I can deal with not dealing with Eldrazi. They are taking the opportunity to attack us. We'll take the 1. 1 damage is good. We are down to 39. It'll be our turn next. Our turn brings us a forest. We are not going to need any more lane cards for a while though, so let's go ahead and play the Spring Bloom Druid. Sacrifice the plains, get a forest and plains out of our deck, play Temple of the False God, pass it off. That should get us to Kodama. There's the sack. Select some lands. And play Temple. And pass it off. Over to the mono green player. Let's see what they're going to do. Maybe some more elves. I mean, giving them 3/3 and trample. Oh, Lotus Cobra, that'll be good. Did take Lotus Cobra out of this deck, by the way. It can be very good, but we get to play a lot of our stuff for free with Kodama, and we don't do too many of the extra landfalls in this deck. So the landfall sub-theme is exactly that. It's a sub-theme. So it took out the Lotus Cobra. It just wasn't performing as much as I'd like. They do have a land to play on their side, though. They get a free mana. We have Oron Reef Ooze. Wow, that's thematic. Props. When it enters the battlefield, 1/1 counter on target creature you control. They put the counter on the Cobra. Yep, it'll be a 3/2. That's it for mono green. Back over to Rakdos. Rakdos does have me worried. They can't summon Rakdos just yet. But if they lay down like a land, Ancient Tomb, and a Signet, then they can, and that's pretty dangerous, being a 6/6 with haste. Okay, so a swamp so far. And that's it for Rakdos. Alright. Yeah, I can live with that for the moment. Let's roll it on over to our turn, see what we get. We get Harmonize. New card draw added to the deck. I add this, Wall of Blossoms, and Wall of Omens because we have blinks. Let's go ahead and play a Canopy Vista. And play a Soul of the Harvest. And we'll pass it off there. I had considered doing Kodama first. However, we don't have any real creatures to put into play besides lands, and we don't have any landfall mechanics yet. So I figured Kodama after the Soul, assuming it survives, then we could get some card draw off of it and start rolling into the things we need. Mono green player's turn, land into play. Lotus Cobra will do its thing. Wildwood Scourge coming down, X = 5. There's a battlefield with X1 counters on it. Whenever one or more counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a 1/1 counter on Wildwood Scourge. Alright, synergies abound. That's it for the mono green player going to roll over. Oh, we have a response. Is it going to be removal? No, it's Scarecrow. Return target artifact creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. It's going to be the, was it Soul? Yeah, Soul of New Phyrexia. It's a 6/6 with haste. That's not the best. It also has trample, which is not the best. We have a Blood Crypt into play for the Rakdos player. It comes into play tapped. So no Rakdos this turn, but Soul of New Phyrexia is enough of a threat. Buried Alive. Oh, that's not good. So they do have Scarecrow out. Ancient Tomb is up, but this costs 4. So we're not in too bad shape now if we blow it up. Hopefully they can't reanimate the Scarecrow just now. So they get Combustible Gearhulk, nice. Filth, yep, Filth is in there, and Bosch Iron Golem. That's it for the Rakdos player. Going to roll over to us. Yeah, we gotta kill that Scarecrow. We can't be having all that stuff coming back out on us. Our turn gives us Scattered Groves. Alright, not the best. Let's go ahead and play a Forest. And then let's go ahead and do the Beast Within. Scarecrow hits the bin. Let's go ahead and play, let's see. Do we want to play Livio now, or do we want to draw some cards? I think we want to play Livio and potentially get some blinks going here. So let's go ahead and play our commander. Livio, Oathsworn Sentinel. We get to draw a card off the Soul of the Harvest. It is a May ability. Make sure you click yes in the bottom box. Ooh, we get Flicker of Fate. Nice. Alright, let's pass it off. Over to the mono green player's turn. So the problem we have now is just Filth in the graveyard, and we need Beast Within also back to our hand or to get Generous Gift so we can destroy Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Otherwise, all their guys are unblockable, and that's not very good. Rakdos can easily come down next turn as well. Rishkar Prima Renegade coming down for the mono green player. That's good. They can put 2 1/1 counters on other things, and then the Wildwood Scourge will get yet another 1/1 counter. Then they can also ult tap for mana. So Winds of Abandon would also not be unwelcome at this point either. Wildwood Scourge will trigger. It'll get a 1/1 counter because one of the 1/1 counters from Rishkar went onto the Lotus Cobra. We have Wilderness Reclamation coming out of the mono green player. That's not good. They do only have 1 card left in hand though, so I'm not terribly worried about them having instant speed reaction. But Beast Within is a thing. End of the turn, Wilderness Reclamation will trigger for the mono green player, and I'll stop saying that until it's destroyed or removed. Alright, over to Rakdos. 5 cards in hand after the draw. They are able to summon Rakdos this turn if they want, if an opponent loses life. And Soul of New Phyrexia does have trample. And if they lay down Urborg, the trample doesn't even matter. Okay, so we have Canyon Sloth. Alright, so not Urborg, that's nice. Faithless Looting is getting a flashback. Let's see what they discard this time. They discard Command Tower and Rogue's Passage. Okay. Ooh, no attacks out of Rakdos, alright. They could have removal in hand now, though. They are drawing, you know, a good amount of cards. Our turn gives us Command Beacon. We sure are getting a lot of lands. Alright, so let's see. This turn, Kodama, or should we do Harmonize? I think this turn we'll actually do Harmonize and leave up mana for blinking shenanigans otherwise. Let's go ahead and play Command Beacon and play Harmonize, draw some more cards, maybe give us some more options here. We get Garrick's Packleader, some card draw, Charming Prince for some blink, and Wall of Omens. Wall of Omens. Flicker of Fate we need to keep up mana for because it can target any creature, and getting rid of the Wildwood Scion, or a Scourge rather, if it attacks us and get all those counters off of it could be super fun. Well, not for our opponents anyway. We also have Charming Prince for some Scry. So let's go Charming Prince, and we'll actually blink out the Spring Bloom Druid to get some more lands out of our deck. And then we'll be able to draw a card off the Soul of the Harvest. Maybe just get something out of the way there. We'll also get to draw for it coming into play too, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead, exile the Spring Bloom Druid. We get to draw a card. We get Evolving Wilds, that's not the best. Should we threaten the mono green player with Soul of the Harvest? I think we can. Let's go ahead and do it. Soul of the Harvest off into the mono green player. Let's see if they block or have some kind of fog effect. They do not block. Damage is good there, down to 34. Well, let's pass it off. I didn't think they would block. They still have their commanders in their command zone, and they haven't ever gotten commander attacks on them, so that should be pretty good once they get them down. Just go to combat with Trample. We get some triggers. Spring Bloom Druid back into play from the delayed exile. Let's go get some lands. We'll sacrifice a plains and go get 2 more plains. And we get to draw a card. Heliod's Intervention. Not terribly good at the moment, but if Rakdos is playing a lot of artifacts, that could be super good later. Off to the mono green player's turn. Land into play, Lotus Cobra does the thing. So they do easily have enough mana to summon Kamahl at this point. The free 3/3 and Trample, the free overrun effect on Kamahl is very good. Tapping down a bunch of mana, Kamahl, Heart of Krosa coming to the battlefield. That's going to hurt. In response to his trigger, we'll probably get rid of the Scourge. Blinking Kamahl, because it'll come right back into play with Flicker of Fate. It won't stop anything from happening. So I think we just get rid of the 7/7. Kamahl triggers. I imagine they're going to combat. Let's see if they actually swing it over at the Rakdos player. I doubt that they're going to, but let's see. We have the Ooze coming at us so far. Yeah, we have the Scourge coming at us. That's unfortunate. Alright, unfortunately we will have to blink. Let's blink the Scourge. The Scourge dies. We have a 5/5 to deal with. Sorry, it'll be a 6/6 thanks to the trigger. No, it's still a 5/5. Okay. I can live with that. I guess we'll just take the 5. Damage is good. We are down to 34. Over to Rakdos. 5 cards in hand after the draw again. Still haven't attacked anything, but they could attack us with the Soul of Phyrexia. I don't know that I'd want to block necessarily just because it has the trample. I'd rather just next turn try draw into some removal. We have enough life where we can survive probably another attack or two, but if they both come down on us, I don't know how that would work out. So we will have to be careful. Heliod's Intervention is something we can deploy against them if they summon a bunch of artifacts. They're going straight to combat. Looks like they're up for Rakdos this turn. Who are they attacking? Is it us? Unfortunately, it is us, at least with the Soul of New Phyrexia. The beast is going towards the mono green player. So the question now becomes, do we want to block and absorb any of that damage? Charming Prince could be really good for us. Spring Bloom Druid, we are already drawing a bunch of lands. But at this point, I'd rather abuse it for possible landfall effects than anything else, so I think we're just going to take the 6. We have Kamahl on the interception for the beast token. Yeah, I kind of figured that was happening. Alright, so we'll be taking the 6 like I said. No damage will get through to the mono green player. So we'll be going down to 28. That does not give us a lot of options. Beast token down, we take the damage. We have Cabal Coffers into play. That means we're probably seeing an Urborg. Oh, that's not good. We have Living Death. That's unfortunate. I've seen that card a lot recently, too. Such a pain. Alright, all of our guys die, unfortunately. Livio will most likely go back to the command zone. We do not have any way to get back out of the graveyard right now. So let's see, what we have in play. Anger, Filth, Bosch, Combustible Gearhulk, and Scarecrow. And they're targeting the mono green player with the Combustible Gearhulk trigger. So they either let the Rakdos player draw 3 cards, or they mill 3 cards, and they take damage equal to the CMCs of all of them. I love Combustible Gear Hulk. It's one of my favorite red cards. Alright, they decide to take all the damage from the mill. Let's see what they got. Mirror Ballisphere, Goblin Engineer, and... oops. Reckless Fireweaver. So yeah, artifact deck. Comes our turn, we get a Plains. Every card draw seems to be land these days. Let's go ahead and play a Forest. Let's go ahead and play a Wall of Omens to get some more card draw going. We get a Fabled Passage. Sad face. Let's go ahead and cycle Scattered Groves. We get Command Tower. This deck just loves the land. Too bad we don't have any of the landfall abilities. It's ironic and frustrating. Let's go ahead and play Heliod's Intervention and destroy all of the artifacts that we can. Actually, you know what? Wilderness Reclamation's up there too. Let's go ahead and do that as well. Select everything. Heliod will intervene for us. We have a response out of the Rakdos player. Let's see what it is. Bosch is sacrificing itself to deal damage to us. That's unfortunate. We'll be taking 7, I believe, or is it 8? No, it's 8. We're down to 20. Alright, everything else goes bye-bye. We have a blocker. Let's pass it off. They don't have Haste or Swamp Walk anymore with Anger and Filth on the graveyard, so I don't really much care that they're there. Rakdos player does have 3 cards in hand. We'll have 4 after the draw. Mono Green player down to only 5 mana sources and 2 cards in hand after the draw. Kamahl has been summoned once, so it will cost 10 now. Slurrk has not come down to the battlefield yet, so they could drop a land and play it as defense. It will be a 5/5. Rolling Regrowth, just like Harrow, just like Spring Bloom Druid rather, except Spring Bloom Druid has a body on it. They sacrifice the forest to go get some more forest. That's it for the Mono Green player. Over to the Rakdos player. They're probably doing better than we are. We have 4 lands in hand because my deck hates me apparently. We do have Garruk's Pack Leader. We do have our commanders. Livio will cost 4. Kodama still costs only the 6, so it's not terrible. So maybe Garruk's Pack Leader, Kodama, draw a card, see what we get. Hopefully it's not a land. Ooh, Valkut Awakening. This is a card I very much like. So they're going to exchange maybe all the cards in their hand to get new ones. However, these do not put the cards in the graveyard. They go on the bottom of the library. So this is not a self-discarding effect. Just keep that in mind. It is an extra red source on lands, however. Buried Ruin into play. Oh, the redundancy. Good deck, though. I'm really enjoying this version of Rakdos so far. That means they can get anything they want basically back to their hand. They can't summon it this turn, thankfully. And they don't have haste, so we might be able to get 2 turns out of whatever they get back. Anger and Filth on the attack, both off into the Mono Green player. Alright. Us not being hit is good, but then they can summon Rakdos, which isn't my favorite. Damage is good. Mono Green player down to 19. Let's see if we see Rakdos in the second main. Yep, there it is, Rakdos, the Lord of Riots himself. Also, a fine purveyor of heavy metal. Hey, Sad Robot coming down for free. That's pretty good. Anybody else remember that you do not hit a Sad Robot with double strike and a flip card? Because then bad things happen to the art. Like it goes upside down. That's it for Rakdos. Our turn gives us a Plains because my deck hates my guts, apparently. Let's play Command Tower, sure. Fabled Passage would have been great had we had Landfall, but we do not. Let's go ahead and play Garruk's Pack Leader. I do like that it costs 4 in green. That's pretty good. And then we'll play Kodama because it does have reach and maybe we can stave off Rakdos for a little bit. Although the amount of advantage they get from Rakdos isn't, they don't have to swing into us basically, so, it's not going to stave off attacks for all that long. We get to draw a card because of the Pack Leader. It is a May trigger. Make sure you click yes if you're on Magic Online. Admonition Angel. There's some landfall stuff. Alright, well, that'll be good if we can live for it. Let's pass the turn. No attacks. Over to the Mono Green player. 2 cards in hand after the draw. Still have mana for Slurrk, and they are at 19. I am glad, rather, that they're staying in the game, though. We have Slurrk All Ingesting coming down. I love the name on that. It's just so flavorful for an ooze. Okay, over to Rakdos' turn. 3 cards in hand after the draw. A lot of mana. Potentially a lot more mana if they drop Urborg. They do not. Basic land. So, hopefully we can take some damage, put down the Admonition Angel, Fabled Passage, Kodama in Evolving Wilds, have a quadruple landfall effect on the battlefield, and start swinging into Rakdos as hard as possible. We have Rakdos on the attack. It is off into us. Do we want to block with Kodama? Now we kind of need Kodama. So I guess we'll be taking the 6th commander. Unfortunately, they're probably going to be laying down something after a Buried Ruin activation. Admonition Angel can take care of it though, most likely. We take 6, down to 14, up to 6 commander. Alright, second main, let's see what Rakdos does. Yep, there's Buried Ruin. Let's see what they're going to get. Combustible Gearhulk. Alright. They'll probably target us, and we'll have to let them draw cards, which is unfortunate. Combustible Gearhulk coming down. Trigger to the stack, it is us. We'll just have to let them draw cards. It's very unfortunate. It'll help them recover, but I think this is, we need to survive, so we let them draw the cards. Chromatic Lantern coming down. That'll help them do stuff, I suppose. Vashino Heretic coming down. Luckily, we don't have any artifacts to destroy. It's a really good card, though. Over to our turn, we get Winds of Abandon. You don't say. That turns the tables pretty good. They don't have any sack outlets. Nice. That changes plans quite a bit. Yeah, I don't think we can pass up this opportunity to try to just sweep the board at this rate. So let's go ahead and do it. Overload. Alright, area gets swept away in the Winds of Abandon. The Mono Green player will get 1 land. The Rakdos player will get, what, 5 or 6 lands? So that should be pretty good for him with the coffers. So we will have to keep a lookout out for that, but we do have Admonition Angel in our hand as backup, plus 2 crackable lands. So I think we're in a much better position now. Now we just need to start laying into Rakdos. During the first main, however, let's go ahead and resummon Livio. Kodama will trigger, we can put a land into play. So let's do a Plains. Let's go to attacks. Off into the Rakdos player we go. 10 damage is good. They take 6 commander down to 17. Let's pass it off. Rakdos players will have 4 cards in hand after the draw. They can't necessarily resummon their commander unless they deal damage to us. And Anger and Filth have been exiled. I think we're in a really good position against Rakdos based on what we know. Mono Green player could still bring something back. Mono Green, it can be very resilient. But so far, I don't know. I think we're good against them too, but time will tell. 3 visits coming out of the Mono Green player. Alright, they'll go get a forest card. Put it onto the battlefield untapped, which is also very important. Very glad they reprinted that in Commander Legends. We have Return to Nature to destroy the Chromatic Lantern on Rakdos' side of the field. Alright. That's it for the Mono Green. Back over to Rakdos. 4 cards in hand, after the draw, of course. So, let's see what they do with it. They could have more recursion, which would be very bad. I don't know how else they'd get too much back against us at the moment. They did just tap coffers for a lot of mana and Demonic Tutor. That will be good for him. We can save one of our guys, though. I'd probably save Kodama at this point, probably. That or the Garruk's Pack Leader, just because we need all that extra card draw. We do have Admonition Angel on backup for removal, but if our board gets wiped, we're in a little bit of trouble. We have Scrap Mastery. They're going to bring back all their stuff again. Okay, well, at least it's not going to blow up all of our stuff. Also on the bright side, Combustible Gearhulk is gone. And this only targets artifacts, but we do have Mirror Battlesphere, Bosch Iron Golem. They have tons of mana right now. We could essentially get burned out. Luckily, they don't have haste. So probably Admonition Angel next turn, assuming we survive. Unfortunately, I don't think we will. Bosch can just sacrifice a couple of those things and wipe us off the map. Bosch Iron Golem is activating. Solvnu Phyrexian is getting tossed at our face. We are down to 8. All it takes is one more activation and sacrificing Bosch. Yep, there it is. We are going to get blown out. However, I am going to still respond by activating Livio and saving Kodama because he's my buddy. And Kodama will get to live without the indignity of defeat. And there it is. Unfortunately, we go down. That Rakdos deck, very nice though. I much enjoyed it. I am going to go ahead and give them the point because like I said, I very much enjoyed that one. Alright, let's see if they can finish off the Mono Green player. Rakdos Lord of Riots coming down. They'll be able to summon things from their hand. The creatures that are colorless for essentially free now. 14 free mana is a lot of mana. Oh nope, they tap down the rest of their mana and pass it off. Alright, so let's see what the Mono Green player can do. I mean, a Bane of Progress would be silly at this point. We have Ivy Lane Denizen coming down for the Mono Green player. Alright, so more 1-1 counter stuff. I don't think they're going to survive against Rakdos with that. Maybe some fog effects to buy time, but they haven't gotten any card draw effects, so that's really bad. Over to Rakdos. Could be game ending here, depending on what they summon. Nothing would have haste, but they do have Scarecrow to bring back some artifacts. I don't think they have anything else. Well, no, they do have Bosch. They could bring back Bosch for, like, what, 4 mana, and then start tossing stuff again? Hagra Mullen coming out. Costs 1 less to cast an opponent controls no basic lands. So, they did have to pay the 4. Alright, so Rakdos is attacking the Mono Green player with Rakdos and the Scarecrow. so that'll only be 7 damage. Still could potentially bring back Bosch. Oh, thwart the enemy coming out of the mono green player. So it's a fog effect. Alright, no damage. So they get no cost reduction. Let's see what they do with it. Bolus's Citadel. That is an aggressive play right there. On the bright side, if they can kill the Mirror Battlesphere and bring it back once or twice, they could just sacrifice the mirror tokens to it. Steel Hellkite, a favorite card of mine. They did use Bolus's Citadel to do that, so they are down to 9 life. Over to mono green, 1 card in hand after the draw. So they have 8 mana. They could resummon Slurrk, but I don't know what that would do for them at the moment. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar is the card. Hey, they're still in the game though. Might as well play some stuff. Let's see what they'll activate. They should be able to make a plant token, and that's about it. No one concurrence to put on anything. They make a plant token with Nissa. They activate Sapseed Farce, they gain 1 life. Up to 20. Over to Rakdos' turn, 3 cards in hand after the draw. Well, 2 cards now. Badlands into play. Off to attacks. They could potentially attack with everything. Yep, there it is. Mirror Battlesphere will trigger. They have no Mirror 2 tapped that are untapped, so it will not get any bonuses. Blocks are assigned. Plant versus the Mirror Battlesphere. That's fine. They could just pump the Steel Hellkite. It does have 2, gets 1/0 till end of turn. So if they do that in response, they can still deal lethal damage to their opponent. So the Steel Hellkite needs to be at least a 9/5 to deal lethal damage. There it is, the last activation they would need. Okay, there it is. Rakdos player gets 3, we get 1 point, and the mono green player gets 1 point. I was just going over here to check the chat to see who's saying good game and all that jazz, and it says this is the first time the Rakdos player has done with it. I guess they mean played the game. Nice deck though. I'm glad it wasn't Eldrazi, so I have no qualms about it. Rather enjoyed it, like I said. Let's go take a look at the deck. Okay, here's the deck. Like I explained at the beginning, it's supposed to be kind of like a Blink with a sub-theme of landfall. We got a lot of lands and none of the landfall. When it does come up in testing, the landfall does very well, but at least this time we got that card draw. Finally. As far as card draw goes, after all the other stuff, if you haven't watched my other videos, I'll go over it in a minute, but I added both Wall of Omens and Wall of Blossoms and Harmonize. So I'm glad we saw Harmonize, we saw Wall of Omens, so we definitely got those, so that's very nice. As for other card draw, we have Lifecrafter's Bestiary, Psalmson Lamp it dies, we saw Soul of the Harvest there for a bit. Good card, Garrick's Pack Leader, so we actually had a few of our card draw engines show up. We have in Garrick's Wake. Not even the right color. Garrick's Uprising, we have Elemental Bond, we have Guardian Project, we have Beast Whisperer. The deck just would not give us card draw through all the games, at least this time we had some. Unfortunately, we drew a lot of lands and not any of the landfall effects. But sometimes the games just go that way, and we were pretty close. Scrap Mastery and Living Death in the deck, potent, very potent. Other than that, I did add Panharmonicon. It is a much more expensive card now. So if you can't afford a Panharmonicon, it's like, what, closer to 20 bucks now? Between 15 and 20, depending where you get it. Use Strionic Resonator. It's a 2-drop. You activate for 2, you get a copy 1 effect. It's still better than nothing. Other than that, for our blink effects, didn't change any of that. We still have the Instance, Flicker, Fate, Long Road Home, Otherworldly Journey. We still have Charming Prince and the Flicker Wisp till the end of turn effects. We still have the Angel or Restoration Angel, the Gale Power Mage, Feldar Guardian. I didn't put in the 6-drop Blink Angel. Admonition Angel is still decent removal, so I didn't really want to take that out. But just be aware, if you use Admonition Angel, not only do you need the land drops, you also have a kind of like an eggs and basket situation. And this deck doesn't run a lot of protection besides blinking, which releases all the things you removed. So there is that problem. Alright, so I'll save the rest of this for the deck tech. Be sure to turn for that if you're interested in building this. There's one thing I want to address though with the Rakdos player specifically. I do not have Angel of Finality in the deck. Either paper or digital, I don't remember which it was, but it was like $10. And I do try to keep my decks cheaper on the paper side. But even then, there's some digital cards that are just too expensive for me to want to buy unless I really need them for a deck. In this deck, if you build something similar, if you can get your hands on an Angel of Finality to remove graveyards, I really very much suggest it. I just didn't have it for here because of expense. However, it is getting a reprint in that white-blue precon for Keldheim. So if you end up picking that up, there you go, you have it in paper. Anyway, if you saw any cards in this video you want in paper, speaking of which, some new sealed proc from Kaldheim or some sleeves to protect all that sweet new goodness, please consider using the CCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It helps out the channel, doesn't cost you anything extra. I'll see you for Kaldheim and the video on Friday.